Radio check, radio check. Okie dokes. Right, you can hear me. Cool. So, welcome everyone to the stream. We have got the sprint race today. And, well, of course, we had the sprint qualifying a couple hours ago. The sprint race starting in now 13 minutes' time. It's a 19-lap race here at the Losail International Circuit. And, of course, we have Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris starting on the front row. That is going to be, well, absolutely brilliant to watch. Let's wait and see what happens. Of course, we've got Verstappen in third. If he gets more than 3 points today, I think it is, then he wins the championship, which will get him 3 championships in a row, and of course put him up there in with all of the other great drivers. Yeah, one sec. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, if you guys can hear me, then do let me know in chat. I'm not 100% sure if my mic is working or not. Yeah. Or maybe my chat screen's broken, I'm not sure. But anyway, so 19 laps of racing. That should be enough for, I think, one set of medium tires. Okay, you can hear me. Brilliant. So I think that should be enough for one set of medium tires. I won't be able to say for certain, but we'll have to find out and wait and see. Yeah, so just to reiterate, what happened was that the tires today, Pirelli, well, not today, yesterday, Pirelli discovered an issue with the tires caused by the high frequency vibrations from between the tire sidewall and the curbs, which meant which caused quite a bit of additional damage to the tires, and which could cause punctures if like the tires are used too much. So effectively what they've done is you're only allowed to drive on a set of tires for 20 laps maximum, which means today's 19-lap race can be done in one stint, and of course it can be done in 2 stints depending on how high the tire wear is. It wasn't particularly, well, it's fairly high, but you could probably get away with one set of mediums. It'll be a pretty risky strategy to do 2 sets of softs, and that's all I have to say really. 2 sets of softs is extremely risky. What else? Of course, it's a 19-lap race. The track conditions have cooled down significantly. Before it was, I think, 42, 43 degree track temperature. Now it's down to 36. And that's definitely just going to, well, it's going to speed up the lap times, make the driving a little bit easier, make fewer overheating issues, and it will just make the race all that more exciting. Of course, it is now nighttime in Qatar. The floodlights are out on the circuit, and it is great to see the cars go racing at nighttime. Of course, there's only one DRS zone around here, so overtaking might be pretty difficult. We will just have to wait and see how that works, and if overtakes can be done with only one DRS zone. And of course, there's no really heavy braking zones. Of course, it is pretty big braking going into turn 6, and the same can be said for turn 10. But nevertheless, they're not really slow speed corners, they're much more medium speed corners. And so we'll just have to see how that goes. And that's all I have to say about the overtaking situation. We'll see how Hamilton can do. He's currently in 12th position. Can he make his way up back through the field? Of course, we've seen him in previous sprint races gain a lot of positions. Of course, if you remember the 2021 Brazil, put in a new power unit and then went from 20th all the way up into first in about 23 laps, I think, of the Sao Paulo circuit. So, yeah, he can definitely do it around 19 laps of Qatar. Now the question is the car with him? Is he with the car? Are they both well suited to each other? And is the car just quick enough, really? Because maybe the Mercedes is quicker than the Alpine, but is it quick enough to make an overtake? We'll just have to see. Is McLaren the fastest car already? No. Verstappen said in an interview it wasn't his greatest lap. Oh, well, he said it wasn't the best lap of my life, saying that, like, implying that there was quite a bit of room for improvement. So that's what's happening with Max. He's probably, going to overtake Piastri going into, no, maybe not Piastri going into 10-1. He might get Norris, but I think that over the course of 19 laps, he'll put enough pressure on either one of the McLaren drivers and get ahead into the lead. What about Ferrari? Will they prove themselves today? Well, they are up in fifth and sixth, and of course the McLarens are ahead of them. But we can see maybe they can score a, yeah. Well, if they can keep up with Russell, and keep Perez and Alonso behind, then that would be a solid performance for Ferrari because they have been struggling, especially Charles Leclerc and track limits. They've both had pretty bad issues, and we'll just have to see how that works out. But Ferrari looking fairly strong today, stronger than they have in the past couple of weeks. So that is a good sign, and we'll see how that works out for them. We've got now 8 minutes left till the session starts, and yeah, all the cars are up on the grid. The engineers just doing their final checks, tires getting warmed up to the correct temperatures, and then going into the car. Do you think the McLarens will lead going into turn number one? Yeah, I think the McLarens will lead. Maybe they've discussed some sort of strategy where they are both going to go side by side and try and just, stick it through turn number one side by side, turn number two side by side, and then after that, go back into normal position and just try and keep Verstappen behind. I don't know though, because Norris and Piastri are both very quick drivers, and I'm sure Norris doesn't want the rookie to beat him in the, in his rookie season. And of course, I'm sure Piastri wants to prove himself that he can beat Norris, and Norris has 4 years of F1 experience already. So maybe they're going to play together. Maybe they're going to have some good teamwork, maybe not. Or maybe they're just going to race as usual, and we'll see what happens there. But I'm sure they will be given strict instructions not to have contact, not to go too tight on each other, because they'd much rather, score the points and get ahead of Aston Martin, the constructors, and get an extra 6 million or something in prize money, that rather than screw up each other's races and just crash into each other effectively. So that's the plan. We'll see how that works out. And then, of course, the same will be said for the Ferraris and the Alpines. Don't crash into each other and just try and race. If you can make an overtake, then do. If not, just defend so no one else can overtake. Does it rain here at the circuit? I've never seen a race in the wet, I guess. Well, I mean, we've only been at Qatar in 2021, and now this is the second race that there is. But I'm pretty sure it does rain in Qatar, but it's very rare, and the sky is very, very clear. Just looking at the TV feed right now, so it looks like it will not be raining. Yeah. And it's just popped up that the risk of rain is 0%. So, once you are in a desert, it's pretty likely that will happen. All right. Also, I'd just like to point out Red Bull are on 623 points in the Constructors' Championship. That is more than double Mercedes, who are in second place. Yeah, more than double. I lost internet connection. Can Max win the title if he wins the sprint race? Max can win the title. If he wins the sprint race, or if he scores more than 3 points, he will win the title. So, as long as he is higher than 6th position, I think. 6th position, is it? Yeah. If he's 6th position or higher, then he will win. The sprint race is 19 laps. 19 laps of racing, really. It's a full 1 hour slot that they get for racing in case there's a safety car or anything. But I don't think that there will. Well, maybe there'll be a safety car, but there won't be any rain, of course, slowing down the actual lap times. Okie dokes. Also, Guan Yu Zhou, who was in 15th position. Oh wait, no. I was talking about. Yeah, I was going to say that he got blocked in qualifying, but that he got blocked in yesterday's qualifying. I mean, also today we had 36 or 32 lap time deletions over the course of, what was it, like a 30 minutes of qualifying. It was quite ridiculous, really, the amount of lap time deletions that we did get. And obviously the drivers, I mean, yesterday we had 22 lap time deletions. Today, after the circuit changes at turn number 13, we had 36 lap time deletions, which is, well, you know, not great, but considering the drivers only had 10 minutes of time to get ready and like sort of adapt and get a feel for what turn number 13 and turn number 12 are going to be like, they did a pretty decent job, I would say. So everyone's on the medium till the end of the race, or I guess softs are favourable in this track temp. Well, I mean, softs are favourable, but softs will overheat very, very quickly. So even if it is low track temps like this, and I say low as in relative low, it's 36-degree track temperature, but I would suggest, well, I would think that the teams would go either on the mediums or hards, and they're probably saving the hards for tomorrow's race, so I would say the mediums. And it's only 19 laps. They don't have to do a pit stop if they don't want to. So we could see a one-stop strategy, but that would be pretty bold, and I would say you'd require a safety car to do that. And even then, it would be you would lose so many positions if everyone else didn't pit. So yeah. All right. 2 minutes left on the clock now. The drivers go into their car. The steering wheel is now attached for everyone, and they will be going racing shortly. Well, we'll have a formation lap as usual, and then after the formation lap, they will go racing. So yeah, just your typical stuff, really. Let me know what your guys' predictions are for who do you think is going to get. Well, what do you think the podium is going to be effectively? Is it going to be the two McLarens at the top, or is it going to be two McLarens in second and third, or is Russell going to take away a position from Lando Norris? What do you think is going to happen? Let me know in the chat. Also, just so everyone knows, basically the left side of the grid. So if you have an even starting number, then if you have an odd starting number, then you are on the left side of the grid, which is the racing line. But then if you have an even starting number, then you are on the dirty side of the grid, but you have the inside racing line. So it's you have an advantage in one situation, disadvantage in another situation. So that's potentially what we could see today. A couple of drivers getting good starts, a couple of drivers being on the dirty side of the circuit. But then obviously being on the inside line is definitely going to help you make an overtake. Right, okay. What else was I going to say? Oh yeah, so effectively... yeah, effectively, if you're on the outside line of the circuit, you are going to, you're going to get a better start, but you're going to be at a worse position once you actually reach turn one. Whereas if you're on the dirty side of the grid, you're going to get a bad start, but you'll be in the correct position to actually make an overtake. But of course, if you get a bad start, you won't be in a good position. You won't actually be overtaking. You'll be defending. So it's a tricky situation. We'll see what happens. Of course, the drivers have no choice. They've qualified as highly as they could, and yeah. So Piastri will be on the clean side of the grid. So will Verstappen, and so will everyone else with an odd number. Ooh, we've got the tire information. Look at this. This is interesting. We've got a couple of drivers on the softs. Especially Charles Leclerc. He's done 6 laps on his softs. That makes no sense because that would go over the 20 lap limit. Same for Guan Yu Zhou, same for K-Mag, same for Alex Hart. What? All right, I'm going to have a quick reread of the rules that the FIA said, just to make sure. Oh, okay, never mind. They're allowed to use used tires, but they're allowed to use used tires. Never mind. Yeah, but Hamilton's on 7-lap-old mediums. It's quite a big surprise there. Right, so welcome along to the Losail International Circuit. We got 16 corners, only 5 meters of elevation change, a very, very flat circuit indeed, 5.5 kilometers. and only one DRS zone here as well. So the wind has died down a little bit compared to what we had yesterday and compared to what we had in qualifying, but it is still fairly strong. All right, the formation lap will be underway shortly. The drivers will start moving around on the circuit. Yeah, okie dokes. Well, actually, the data tends to start working after the formation lap, but we might as well have a quick chat about the grid position. So going from the bottom, we've got Kevin Magnussen 19th, Logan Sargent in 20th, Alex Albon in 17th, and Yuki Tsunoda in 18th. Albon out qualifying Logan Sargent 17 times to 0 this season so far. So it's been a pretty dominant display from Alex Albon. We've got Zhou in 15th, Stroll in 16th. Stroll definitely not having a good weekend whatsoever. We'll just have to see how that works out for him. Is he going to be able to recover? Is he just going to get worse and worse? And then we've got Bottas and Lawson in 13th and 14th. 11th and 12th is Gasly and Hamilton. Hamilton, of course, had a lap time deleted and then got knocked out in Q2, so we'll see if he can recover. It'll be pretty difficult, though, on 7-lap-old medium tyres. And then we have Ocon and Alonso and Ocon in 9th and 10th place. Then we've got Hülkenberg ahead of Perez. I didn't pick up on this before, but Nico Hülkenberg in the Haas has outqualified Sergio Perez. Bit of a surprise down there, isn't it? And then we have got, of course, the two Ferraris in 5th and 6th, Verstappen starting in 3rd, Russell in 4th, and then we've got the two McLarens up at the top. Right, so this is the formation lap. The drivers just drivers on the formation lap. Warming up their tyres, getting everything up to temperature, the engine, the clutch, the brakes, and they will be going racing shortly. Right, I'm going to have a quick drink of water and then I will be ready to commentate for the next 19 laps. Also, guys, if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. If you haven't subscribed, that would be wonderful as well. Definitely just helps out the channel. And yeah, thanks. Okie dokes. So we have now got the drivers coming into the final sector of the formation lap, and we'll be getting ready to go racing. So just a quick summary of all the tyres. As you can see, we've got Russell, the two Ferraris, Alonso, the two Alpines, and then we've got both Aston Martins, both Alpines on the softs, both Ferraris on the softs. We've got Russell on the softs, and we have Sargent on the softs as well. Everyone else on the mediums with varying levels of wear. The only people with fresh tyres are Verstappen, Hülkenberg, Perez, and Stroll and Sargent. So everyone else has got used sets of tyres. But anyway, they will all be able to get to the end of this race. Well, they should be able to get to the end of this race without any sort of issues. We'll have to wait and see. The softs do feel like a bit of a gamble, but of course, it's you'll be quicker in the first part of the race, and then hopefully you can defend in the second part. They're kind of relying on the fact that this circuit's pretty difficult to overtake around, and they're also relying on the fact that high tyre wear is going to slow the medium tyre runners down as well, which means everyone will be struggling rather than just the soft tyre runners. Well, we'll see how this plays out now in the next 19 laps of racing. We've got the McLarens lined up at the front of the grid. Behind them is Max Verstappen and George Russell, and then the rest of the grid are slotting into their grid positions as we speak. Okie dokes. Guys, I apologize. My commentary is once again going to be delayed by about 40 seconds to what's happening on the data. I think there might be a way for me to delay it very slightly, but I'm not, 100% certain, and I don't want to do that halfway through the stream. So, yeah, my commentary is going to be delayed by a couple of seconds. Actually. No, it's fine. Lights out and away we go. We got Oscar Piastri going into the lead at turn number 1, and look what's happened. Yeah, that's the data's not having a great day, but Oscar Piastri the lead into turn number 1, where Max Verstappen down into 5th, Norris down into 5th. Quite a big mix-up here at the start of this race. Piastri still leading and Norris all the way down there. And who's dropped all the way down? Liam Lawson's dropped down into 20th position, stopped on the side of the track. We have a yellow flag out. And let's just do a quick recap of what happened there. So all the drivers still driving around, but the lights... so just the replay here, the lights go out. Oscar Piastri gets a good start. Lando Norris gets a horrible start. Everyone overtakes him pretty much immediately. They're 5 wide going into turn number 1. Piastri very much in the lead. And then we've got the two Ferrari and George Russell battling away. And everyone stays on the circuit, luckily. But Liam Lawson does have a big issue, and he has stopped on the side of the circuit. Maybe we'll get a yellow flag. He's stuck in the gravel. If he can get himself out, then that'd be good. If not, then we will have a virtual safety car. Piastri still leading, though. George Russell behind him. And then we've got Sainz and Leclerc. And we have got a full safety car deployed onto the circuit because Liam Lawson is deposited. He's just stuck on the side of the circuit in the gravel. Yeah, but Piastri still leading under the safety car. And also, guys, every single lap behind the safety car just benefits the soft tyre runners. Because the less tyres that they have to do at race conditions means that the better condition their tyres will be at the end of this race. So George Russell, who started the race on the softs, I mean, look at this. So Russell, Sainz, and Leclerc started the race on the softs. All three of them jumped Verstappen and Norris. Piastri had that extra, 3 to 5 meters or something, but both Verstappen and Norris got caught out by the drivers starting on the soft tyres. They just got so much of a better traction off the start of the race that there was nothing they could do into turn number 1. It's quite a long run as well. They've got obviously half the straight going into turn number 1 before they actually hit the brakes. So it was quite a big advantage starting out on those softs, and now the safety car is playing right into the hands of all of the soft tyre runners. So we'll see how that works out and which way the strategy goes. So just having I'm going to try and find out what happened to Liam Lawson. He is now stuck on the side of the circuit. They've got, I think, a truck out to him already. Yeah. All right. It was quite a chaotic start. Look, there was lots of overtaking going on, as you can see. I think, the main reason why we had such a chaotic start was because we had, of course, some drivers on soft, some drivers on hards, and then the side of the circuit was so full of dust. People undershot their braking points, and it was quite a bit of a spectacle there. So just looking at Liam Lawson's replay, he just loses the car, I think, totally on his own, and maybe he got a tap from the back, but I'm looking at the onboard and I can't obviously see if anyone's hit him from behind. There won't be a red flag. It won't take that long to clear him up, clear the car up. So, Liam Lawson got a pretty decent start, but then, of course, I think just lost the rear, either himself or got tapped by someone. But Verstappen also was struggling with the rear. He was on the outside line of turn number 1 where there's a whole lot of dust, and the car very much just sliding around. He's losing the car through turn number 2 as well. And it's looked pretty tricky. A whole lot of sparks flying around from the Ferraris. And look at this, safety car is in this lap, and we have Oscar Piastri doing his first ever safety car restart in F1. He leads the way, George Russell right behind him, And as they come across the line now, George Russell is able to overtake him. So here they go into turn number one. George Russell got a very nice slipstream indeed off Oscar Piastri. Both of them in the Mercedes engine. What will happen into turn number one? Piastri maintains the lead. George Russell does not look to the inside whatsoever, just trying to stay as close as possible behind him. Of course, he knows DRS is going to open in the next lap. So any time that he gains, well, as close as he can stay to Piastri, just to get DRS, and then he'll make the overtake after that. I think that's what the plan is. Yeah, all right. So safety car is in, and we have got... Oh, look at this. George Russell makes a move going into turn number 6 ahead of Oscar Piastri. That was a very late lunge, and Piastri didn't see it coming, and George Russell has made his way ahead of him. So Piastri now under pressure from Carlos Sainz, and George Russell leading the sprint race. Did not think I would be saying that, to be honest. Is Qatar a fast track? Can Albon drag it to the points? Qatar's a fast circuit in terms of high speed corners, and the Williams is a fast car in terms of straight line speed. So no, Albon will not be able to drag it to the points. I'm guessing this weekend round. And just to say how Piastri's overtake happened. Oh, Sargent's now stuck, and we've got a safety car deployed again. Sargent has crashed. I'll just see what's happened to him going through turn number 9 and 10. Let's get a replay. So he was trying to overtake, either defend or overtake against Sonoda, or was he just on his own? Let's have a look. But effectively what George Russell did was just push Oscar. He did a very, very late lunge. Like, I'm going to be honest, like, he braked so late. Like, it's one of those Daniel Ricciardo moves. And then Piastri was just on the suboptimal racing line. There was a bit of dust here and there, and then he lost grip and, of course, lost the position. Logan Sargent crashed all on his own. He turned in, and the rear of the car just did not stick whatsoever. And we saw Alex Albon having the same sort of issue in practice. Logan Sargent has had the same issue. They turn in, the front of the car sticks, the rear of the car doesn't, and however much he tries to save it, the car is just swinging around, and straight into the barrier. So we'll see how long that takes to clear him up. But it looks like it might take more than one lap, and we're going to spend probably 25% of the safety car, 25% of the race behind safety car conditions. 2 laps and 2 drivers out, and both drivers out on their own mistakes. No one's tapped them, no one's done anything. The safety car will still once again benefit the soft tyre runners, definitely George Russell. Of course, you've got to consider maybe the Mercedes car isn't faster than the McLaren. I don't think it is, but of course, George Russell on those soft tyres, Piastri on the mediums. So George Russell is very happy about the fact that he's got that overtake done. He's on the soft tyres, whereas everyone else is, well, at least Piastri is on the mediums. And Piastri's going to be under a lot of pressure from Sainz and from Leclerc now because, well, they are on the faster tyres, and Piastri has already lost 1 position. Right, let's see. Have they cleared up Logan Sargent's car? Is the safety car coming in this lap? By the looks of it, it is not. We're going to have at least 1 more lap under the safety car. Ooh, let's have a look at this. So we've had Fernando Alonso try to overtake Lando Norris. So what I saw here is Alonso's taking the inside line, trying to get Norris to take the outside line where all the dirt and sand is. And it kind of worked out for a moment there. Lando Norris was squirming all over the side of the circuit, and then of course turn number 4 and 5 are both right-handers. So then when they went into turn number 6, Fernando Alonso was on the outside line, and he lost out there. What is the safety car doing exactly? I don't know why it's glitching and it says the safety car is there. I think it's going to teleport the safety car back to the front of the... Yeah, there we go. Right. But yeah, Fernando Alonso got caught out by the dust and the dirt, and then he lost grip and then lost the position out to Esteban Ocon. So, Carlos Sainz is having some sort of misfires in his car. Yes, Carlos Sainz having some sort of misfires in his engines. Ferrari are thinking about changing the settings. They're trying to figure out what to do. Otherwise, he is going to, of course, create engine damage himself, because misfires not good for the engine, not good for the cylinders. And the F1 car is obviously a very complex system, so any sort of issue is likely to propagate into other sort of systems as well. And we'll just have to see if Ferrari can sort that out for him. Also, we are still getting lap time deletions. Alonso's got one lap time deletion at turn number 15, and the same can be said for Nico Hulkenberg. I would probably say, since that was on lap number 3, that might have been under on the safety car restart, and or maybe under safety car conditions. I'm not sure, but nevertheless, it wasn't a particularly fast lap, I don't think. So, yeah. Why is no one pitted? Because if you do pit, you'll come out 20 seconds behind wherever you originally were. And even if George Russell pitted now, he would come out in last position. So there's really no benefit to coming into the pits. And we're having yet another lap behind the safety car. Yet another lap. It's taken a while to clear up Logan Sargent because he was very much in the middle of the gravel trap. And there was it's going to take a while to get that lorry out and lorry, back in. Yeah, they've pulled his car out, in fact, all the way to the barriers. It'll be a couple more minutes now till they get it lifted over onto the other side, and then we can go racing again. All right, is there a mandatory pit stop? No, there is not a mandatory pit stop. Yeah, safety car teleporting. I mean, it's that's what they do. When the drivers complain about the safety car being too slow, they teleport. The safety car just teleports to the next corner immediately. All right, the safety car is in this lap, guys. So safety car in this lap, and we have got George Russell leading the race, and we'll see what Oscar Piastri can do off the safety car restart. What happened with Yuki Tsunoda? Tsunoda just started down in 18th. He had a bad quali, and hence is currently in 18th position. Who replaces Sargent next year? I think Sargent is still driving, they're going to give him another chance in here because, of course, basing someone's, driving performance off their rookie season in F1 is pretty difficult. So, we'll just have to see. Lando Norris, by the way, he obviously started the race up in second position, dropped his way down to fifth, and then dropped another position to Verstappen. He just got a horrible start, and effectively, Russell got a better start than him, and then squeezed him out onto the outside line, where, of course, all of the sand was, and he lost grip, lost time, and because of that, lost quite a few positions. Right, that is it. Safety car is in this lap, and look at that. George Russell has got the jump on Oscar Piastri. Piastri under quite a bit of pressure from Carlos Sainz here. As they come through the final corner, Carlos Sainz pretty much side by side, and here they are going down the start-finish straight. Piastri is under pressure from Sainz. Sainz pulled out, got the DRS, got the slipstream, and on the faster tyres, he brakes later than Piastri, and there's nothing Piastri can do. He tries to fight it, and wow, what a late lunge from Oscar Piastri. That is some serious defending there, and he is hanging on to that second place spot with his life. DRS will be enabled on the next lap, and then we'll see what he can do. But he's got to catch up to George Russell, otherwise he's going to be a sitting duck down the straight for the Ferraris, and it's good. Yeah, that will be an absolutely impossible task to defend against. So here they go. The Ferrari, of course, sparking away in the Qatari night. I don't know exactly what I was going with there. But Piastri putting on a brilliant defensive display there against Carlos Sainz. Okie dokes, the gap at the front is extending out already 2 seconds now. It was 1.5 seconds before, it's 2 seconds. And it looks like George Russell is going to run away with this. Just looking at the sector times, he was 0.4 of a second quicker in the middle sector. Those soft tyres just coming in handy and giving him the pace when he requires it. So we will, George Russell may be driving off into the distance. We'll have to wait and see. Verstappen still in fifth, though, not been able to make any overtakes on the Ferrari. It looks like the car isn't particularly quick in race conditions. We'll have to wait and see, of course, for tomorrow, or maybe now. DRS will be enabled on the following lap, and we'll see what Max Verstappen can do. Of course, only one DRS zone here, but Verstappen applying some pressure onto Leclerc, and Leclerc off the back of Sainz, in fact. Leclerc 1.5 seconds, 1 and 3/10 seconds behind from Sainz. So Sainz is a fair amount quicker than Leclerc, and Sainz is having misfire issues as well. Both Ferrari drivers having issues this weekend. Leclerc with his gearbox and Sainz with his engine. So they're doing a fairly solid job staying up in third and fourth position. Verstappen now putting some more pressure onto Charles Leclerc, and Sainz as well just dropped a little bit back from Oscar Piastri. And this is the thing now, the soft tyres, this is where their disadvantage is. The more time he spends behind Oscar Piastri, the more overheating his tyres are going to experience, and the faster they're going to wear out. And yeah, just look at this. His middle sector slower than Oscar Piastri, 0.6 of a second slower than George Russell's middle sector. So that's just the difference between clean air and dirty air. And we are seeing Carlos Sainz, really suffer because of that. All right, we're getting more lap time deletions here. Hamilton lap time deleted at turn number 5. Alonso, Gasly, Magnussen deleted at 15, 15, and 2. Quite a few lap time deletions. They're all coming in now, but we'll have to wait and see. Right. What does okie dokie mean? Okie dokie just means okay, but I just say okie dokie because, I don't know, maybe it's a British thing. Yeah. Anyway, Oscar Piastri now catching up to the back of George Russell. Look at this. Piastri 0.2 of a second faster than Russell on the previous lap, and the soft tyres, they are struggling. We are now at 36-degree track temperature, but the soft tyres, they were designed to do maybe 10, maybe 15 laps. I'm going to get the strategy guide up and see what Pirelli said, but they are wearing out faster than anyone would have expected, to be honest. And that is why it looks like Oscar Piastri is going to come right back to George Russell on the next couple of laps. George Russell obviously will be being told over the radio to pick up the pace, but of course, if his soft tyres are sliding around, there is not much he can do about it. Carlos Sainz lap time deletion at turn number 15, and he is under a lot of pressure now from Max Verstappen. Verstappen overtook Leclerc a couple of, I think last lap I forgot to comment on that. I was kind of missed out. But here he is now on the back of Carlos Sainz. He's got the DRS, he's got the slipstream, he's got the Honda engine, which is quicker than the Ferrari, and here he comes down the straight, and he is miles ahead of him before he even reaches the braking zone. What a easy overtake that was. Just got an absolutely brilliant exit, and yeah, the DRS did the rest of the work. All right, Norris now under pressure from Charles Leclerc. We'll wait and see what Lando Norris can do. But Verstappen now cleared both Ferraris, and his next task will be catching up to Oscar Piastri. And I sense with 10 laps left to go, Oscar Piastri now has DRS on George Russell. It's going to be a three-way fight for the win of this race, for the lead of this race. Piastri's radio message has said, soft tyres are starting to struggle now, the race is going to come back to us, and that is exactly what has happened. 7/10 is the gap now. Piastri right onto the back of George Russell, and here they are now coming through turn number 11, turn number 12. See, this is the issue now. If Piastri battles with Russell a lot, then he's going to lose time to Verstappen. Verstappen's going to catch up to both of them and just take the lead of this race. So Piastri's got to make a quick overtake on George Russell, not lose too much time, and hope that Russell defends hope that Russell defends against Verstappen for him if he wants to win this race. So here comes Oscar Piastri now, 4/10 coming out of the final corner, gets a nice exit, tucked into the slipstream of George Russell, activates the DRS going down the straight. It's nearly a 2-kilometer straight down here. And the overtake in the Mercedes-powered McLaren overtakes the Works Mercedes team, and he has got that overtake done, and he has lost no time whatsoever. So Verstappen now 2 seconds behind George Russell. He'll be catching up in a matter of laps. Also, Lando Norris as well ahead of Charles Leclerc. So the soft tyres runners now starting to struggle. Leclerc gained a couple of positions at the start of this race. Lando Norris now re-overtaking him. And we have a yellow flag. Nico Hulkenberg going slowly after turn number 2. Nico Hulkenberg and Esteban Ocon, by the looks of it, are going slowly, and Sergio Perez. Ocon, Sergio Perez, and Nico Hulkenberg involved in some sort of incident at turn number 2. Hulkenberg's got away with it. Ocon and Perez are stuck at 2. Maybe we'll get a safety car. I mean, if they're stuck at turn number 2, then I think it will be a safety car. I'll get the information in about 40 seconds now. Max is now world champion if the positions stay like this. Oh, yeah, we're getting a safety car, guys. There we go. We got Sergio Perez and we've got Esteban Ocon all off into the gravel. And I think Nico Hulkenberg managed to keep the car running, not get stuck in the gravel. Yeah, there we go. But there is a significant cloud of smoke, and we have got Oscar Piastri and... No, not Oscar Piastri, sorry, Esteban Ocon and Sergio Perez out in the gravel. Perez not happy, waving off. He's waving at Ocon, being like, what are you doing? What are you doing, mate? Pretty fed up by the looks of it. Also, thank you, Jack Z, for the nice comment. Keep up the good work. Very much do appreciate it. I mean, we are getting 3 safety cars in the sprint race. This is more than we're going to get in tomorrow's race, I presume. Right, Ocon, Perez, yeah, they have a bit of history, don't they? Back in Force India days, of course, as pointed out by Amit. I'm not going to try it. Amit Tansu. I think you know who I'm talking about, but appreciate reminding me of that. That's been quite a while. So I've just came. What happened, F1 Gamer? We've had 3 safety cars. Liam Lawson crashed, so Logan Sargent crashed, and now we had Ocon and Perez crash. So they went 3 wide into. Oh my god, this is just comical. They went 3 wide into turn number 2. Ocon understeered into Magnussen, Ocon understeered into Hulkenberg, sorry, who got sandwiched by so Hulkenberg got sandwiched by Ocon and Perez, and he got sandwiched. He got away with it, luckily. Ocon got spun round, and then he got spun around and hit Sergio Perez. So, I mean, you just have to watch the replay. There's no way I'm even going to be able to describe it. It's... I mean, this is kind of what you get when you only have 19 laps of racing and drivers are on different sets of tyres. So Ocon understeers into Hulkenberg, hits his left front, and then because of that, Ocon spins around. Of course, because Hulkenberg sees that Perez and Ocon are both squeezing into him, he hits the brake, so he avoids the incident, and Ocon spins around and hits Perez. So that's kind of what happened. Since which season have I been streaming? I think I've been streaming since 2020. 2020. And then I started commentating properly in the 2020 Russian Grand Prix, I think. I attempted commentating at the 2020 Russian Grand Prix. And then after that, I properly started commentating in 2021. So that's what's... and then from 2021 ever since, pretty much been doing it most races now. Most qualifyings. How many points does Max need to win it? Max needs 3 points, and he is definitely getting that. He's getting 6 points by finishing in 3rd position, and he will get that championship. Is Nico Hulkenberg out too? Yep, he comes into the pits, and he has retired. Looks like he had some... I suspect he would have had some suspension damage. That impact with Ocon was pretty severe. His front wing was damaged, and a couple of other things as well, I'm guessing. And they probably just don't want to stress out the car after it's been in a crash as well. and then they'll get everything repaired up. And then, I mean, there's only 6, 7 laps of racing, and depending on how long it takes them to clear out the cars, which they still haven't done, by the way, we're on lap number 13, and the cars are just sitting there in the gravel. So they've recovered most of the debris, but of course they're still yet to recover the cars, so that'll take a while. And there's no chance really of Hulkenberg, putting on a fresh front wing and getting out into, eighth place to score 1 point. So they might as well retire. Safety car is going to help out, though. It's going to help Max Verstappen on the restart. Of course, the soft tyres will very much be worn out, and we'll see Verstappen overtake Russell quite easily. It's a matter of remove Max from... Oh, my God. Like, Person 80, like, what is the point in, like, spamming the chat? There's just no point. You can say the message once, and that's, fair enough. Driver of the day definitely does go to Bernd Mailander for driving the safety car. Indeed it does. Okie dokes. What else is going on then? So, yeah, everyone just lapping around in the safety car. I mean, to be honest, if the safety car wasn't coming out, I mean, these soft tire runners would be so dead. We've had I think it must have been 5-6 laps under the safety car. So if that was 5-6 laps more of extra racing, the soft tire runners would be completely dead. And as you can see, we've seen that Stroll's come into the pit, Zhou has come into the pits, Magnussen come into the pits because those soft tires were just wearing out far too quickly. Oh no, apologies. I don't know why Stroll and Zhou came. I don't know why Zhou and Magnussen came into the pits, but they have, and yeah, that's what's happened there. Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be a safety race considering we've had, what's that been? 4 drivers crash out and then 1 retire. But yeah, it's been a safety car race for sure. I wouldn't call it a safety race, but a safety car in this lap, guys. Safety car is in this lap. Also, thank you everyone for coming along to the stream. If you are enjoying, then I am streaming tomorrow as well, so be sure to tune into that. And if you haven't hit the like button, then be sure to do that as well. Definitely helps out the channel. And I will, hope to see you tomorrow. Yeah. All right. Safety car is now coming in this lap. And we shall get, how many laps is that? 5, 6 more laps of racing. And then we'll get going. All right, I'm going to have a quick drink. I mean, at this rate, the safety car is going to wear out his tyres because, the safety car, you have to keep in mind, the safety car is driving around at the absolute limit. Like, it's qualifying laps 24/7 for the safety car. So the safety car might have worn its tyres out and it's going to have to come in for a pit stop. Yeah. All right. Safety car now coming in. I'm going to have a quick drink of water before the restart, and I will, commentate for the final 5 laps of this race. Can we have any more interesting overtakes with the final 6 laps left? We definitely can. And as they come across the line, that will turn into 5 laps left. But 5 laps of racing, and we have got DRS will be enabled in 2 laps time. Oscar Piastri leads the way. George Russell in second place. Max Verstappen in third. So the question is, can Max Verstappen overtake Russell and Piastri in 5 laps without DRS for the first 2? That's what we're looking for. Gasly overtakes Hamilton on the restart. The soft tyres doing wonders on the restart at least. But maybe they'll come back to bite in the following couple of laps. So here they go then. Oscar Piastri pulled out a 1 second gap to George Russell already. Oscar Piastri, he'll be praying effectively for that George Russell defends him. I mean, if I was at the McLaren pit garage right now, I would be walking over to Mercedes, be like, tell George Russell to defend against Verstappen. And to be honest, it's in George Russell's best interest to defend against Verstappen. If he can defend, then he's gonna, stay ahead of well, then of course he's going to keep second place. If he can't defend, then he'll lose the position to Verstappen, and Sainz and Leclerc are going to be pretty close anyway. So, I mean, it's in Russell's best interest, but Verstappen, of course, is an absolute rocket ship. And here he is, 3/10 behind George Russell, now coming into the final corner. No DRS on this occasion, but can Max Verstappen make the overtake stick? Of course, the Honda engine slightly more powerful at the top end compared to the Mercedes. And here he comes down the straight, 2/10 is the gap. He's right into that slipstream. He pulls out to the side now, side by side, going into turn number one. Verstappen gets the lead over George Russell, and it is now 2.5 seconds and 4 laps remain. Can Oscar Piastri hold off Max Verstappen? Both drivers on medium tyres, both drivers done 15 to 17 laps on these tyres, and we're going to see now who is going to win this sprint race. Will it be Oscar Piastri, the rookie, having an absolutely fantastic season, most definitely deserves the Rookie of the Year award? Or will it be Max Verstappen, of course, the reigning world championship? DRS will be enabled on this lap. The gap currently 2.3 seconds. It'll be a while till Verstappen gets DRS. Well, depends on his pace. Let's have a look. First sector, Max Verstappen is 0.2 of a second faster than DRS. So, or maybe, guys, we'll have another incident and then we'll get a safety car and we'll finish the race under the safety car. You know, who knows? I mean, with the amount of unpredictable stuff that's been happening, I wouldn't put it past that to happen. We've had Stroll get a lap time deletion and Valtteri Bottas as well, but I don't think we've had any repeat offenders. So everyone should be fine without getting a 5-second time penalty. Okie dokes. In the middle sector, Oscar Piastri, a purple middle sector, goes slightly quicker than Max Verstappen, a purple third sector as well, and Verstappen goes marginally faster than him. But Oscar Piastri is definitely putting up a good fight here. So their lap times was a 1:25.9 for Max Verstappen and a 1:26.2 for Oscar Piastri. But if it continues at this race, there's only 3 laps left. Verstappen is going to have to pull out some quali laps if he wants to overtake Piastri. Otherwise, Piastri will win the sprint race in his rookie season, which would be absolutely fantastic. There's not really much effect, but it's just that, of course, just to keep in mind. Otherwise, if they get 3 deletions, then they will get a penalty. Right, I'm going to put a poll out. Who's going to win? Is it going to be Piastri? Is it going to be Piastri? I think I spelled his name right. Yeah. Well, who's going to win? Is it going to be Verstappen? Is it going to be Piastri? 2 seconds is the gap. 3 laps left. He's definitely going to try. It's 50-50 right now. Look at this, 60-38. We think Piastri's going to win. Okie dokes. Well, let's keep our eyes peeled. Lando Norris currently in 4th position. He's trying to catch up to the back of George Russell. Russell's struggling with his tyres. He's 0.4 of a second slower just in the first sector alone. Lando Norris is going to catch up. We could see a double McLaren podium here, and that would be absolutely fantastic for the team, and especially in their fight to catch up to Aston Martin in the constructors. Okie dokes. So here we go. Oscar Piastri, 2 seconds is the gap now with 2 laps left. Max Verstappen, another fastest lap of the race. He goes 0.3 of a second faster than Oscar Piastri, but 0.3 of a second is not enough. On this lap alone, he's going to have to go 1 full second faster. So if Piastri can hold it together, not make a mistake, then we could see him go on to win this race. Also, guys, we're 30 subscribers away from the subscriber target. If you haven't subscribed, that would be fantastic. And you have to be subscribed for like 1 minute, and then you can type in chat as well. And if you haven't hit the like button, then that would be brilliant as well. But anyway, I've got all of that stuff out of the way. We've got another 3 minutes of pure racing. Max Verstappen catching up to Oscar Piastri once again. Gap remaining at 2 seconds, and it looks like it's not going down. Piastri doing a solid job, and the car looks pretty stable. Leclerc comes over the radio, says, "I think Carlos is struggling." Which maybe he is. Of course, Carlos was struggling with the misfire issues. Leclerc is under pressure from Lewis Hamilton. So ideally, he would like Sainz to drop back a little bit, give him some DRS and help out his teammate. Leclerc under quite a bit of pressure from Lewis Hamilton. Of course, Leclerc on the softs, Hamilton on the mediums, Hamilton right now on the faster tyres. And Piastri, now we are going on to the final lap of this race. And we have got Oscar Piastri with a 2-second lead ahead of Max Verstappen. Verstappen crosses the line. He goes 4/10 slower than his previous lap time, and he matches Oscar Piastri. His tyres just don't have the performance to set another quick lap. They may be overheated. Maybe he's run out of battery because, of course, Verstappen did have to make a couple of overtakes there. And look at this. Lando Norris down the inside at turn number 1, gets past George Russell, and we have got 2 McLarens on the podium. And unfortunately, Charles Leclerc loses the position to Lewis Hamilton here going into turn number 1. And now Hamilton right onto the back of Carlos Sainz immediately, like he's overtook Leclerc and then straight onto the next corner. He's right onto the back of Sainz. This is going to go right down to the wire out the final corner. But we have got Alex Albon in P8. I don't know how he's improved that many positions. He's gone 9 positions up from his starting position, and that is fantastic. Maybe he can even score a point. I think someone asked me earlier, is Albon going to score a point? And I was like, nah. The Williams is not fast enough for this on this circuit. But here comes Mr. Alex Albon, just proving me wrong again. Doing a fantastic job. And look at this, Hamilton overtakes Sainz going through turn number 9. What a corner to make an overtake. Seriously good overtaking and driving from both drivers. Very respectful and leaving space for the other driver. But here comes Oscar Piastri out the final corner to come across the line and win the sprint race in his rookie season. Absolutely fantastic job. And if he's done that in his first year, then who knows what he can do in the next coming years. We've got Max Verstappen in second place. He's now World Drivers' Championship. He's champion of the world for 2023. Absolutely fantastic job from him. And he's going to, be celebrating tonight, of course, of his third world title in a row as well. And then, of course, we've got Lando Norris now coming in at third position. We've got the 2 Mercedes in 4th and 5th, the 2 Ferraris in 6th and 7th, and Alex Albon in 8th, picking up that final 1 point. And oh my God, it was so close. Between Charles Leclerc and Alex Albon, it was a drag race to the finish line. 4 milliseconds apart. 4 milliseconds, guys. That was, if you guys remember back to 2022 Suzuka, where Fernando Alonso and Seb Vettel were so close together. It's even closer than that. 4 milliseconds. That is ridiculous. He was so close to overtaking Charles Leclerc on the final corner. I would love to see the replay of that and just see how close they were. I mean, I suspect it was centimeters between the 2 drivers, if not millimeters. But that has been the sprint race. Quite a lot of action and quite a lot of safety cars as well. But Albon and Leclerc, a photo finish. I would love to stick that on a wallpaper. Leclerc just edging out Alex Albon. Of course, Albon in that Golf livery as well. The Williams look absolutely beautiful. But we've got the main highlights of today. Oscar Piastri winning his first ever sprint race. And doing so in his rookie season. And now we've got Max Verstappen, 3-time champion of the world. 3 times in a row, broken so many records this year. And of course, the 10 races in a row as well. And he's going to go on maybe to even win 19 races this year, which would be absolutely ridiculous. What a drive and what a sprint race this has been. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I very much do appreciate all of your support. And I will be commentating the full race tomorrow as well. It will be a full, I think, 49, 50 laps or something. I'm not 100% sure. 51 laps, something like that. But yeah, definitely be sure to tune in, and I will, I hope you've enjoyed the coverage. Right, what a stream it has been. Usually we don't have sprint races that are this good, but it was quite a fantastic race, if I'm not going to be completely honest with you. And all the drivers now into the garage, and we have Oscar Piastri winning winning a sprint race, not a Grand Prix. Nevertheless, absolutely fantastic. So it's been a pleasure commentating to you guys. If you have a wonderful morning, day, afternoon, or evening, depending on where you are in the world. And I will see you in 23 hours or so for the Qatar Grand Prix. And I'm going to end the stream now, and it should take you to tomorrow's stream. It's been my pleasure commentating to you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Cheers, fellas.